It's 18th of September 2024, not too long after the anniversary of the Battle of Stirling Bridge on 11th of September, where William Wallace and Andrew de Moray routed an English force under Cressingham and Warham. And it was just down here in front of you that you see where the famous victory and battle took place. There's Stirling Castle in the background, and if I zoom in, there's Bridge Haugh down there, Stirling Rugby Club, and just in that, basically on the fields in and round about there is where the English gathered after they had crossed Stirling Bridge, and Wallace and Andrew de Moray and their men piled in on top of them and hammered them, basically, pushed them back in towards the Forth, and had a resounding victory, one that was unexpected and set new standards in the battle against the English, who had been the dominant force in this area for quite some time. In the distance there you can see the remains of Cambus-Kenneth Abbey and the ford which went across the Forth there. That was one of the most important fords in Scotland back in the day, in the medieval period. And Cambus-Kenneth Abbey held a significant and prominent part in development and history of Scotland. It was where Bruce met after the victory at the Battle of Bannockburn, and where he held a parliament. James III, King James III and his wife are buried there. So a truly, truly historic place, just on the outskirts of Stirling. There up on the crag stands Stirling Castle, a castle that was significant in the battles between Scotland and England over the years. From memory, I believe it changed hands 7 times, 7 or 8 perhaps, times between the Scots and English and back to the Scots again. Stirling, of course, known as the brooch of Scotland, because it was the lowest crossing point at that time on the River Forth. So all the traffic going north and south came through Stirling. All the heavy foot traffic, that is. So it was a very significant and important place in Scotland. In the foreground of the castle there you can see Bridge Haugh, Stirling Rugby Club's grounds, and you can just see the banks of the Forth meandering round there. A truly historic space. If I spin around, just in the far left there, you'll see the white building of the rowing club. And in those grounds down there, that's where the famous Battle of Stirling Bridge took place. William Wallace, Andrew de Moray against Cressingham and his English soldiers. The result was a significant and important victory for Scotland in the Wars of Independence. Some people have said that the tidal range of the Forth was a lot higher 700 years ago. But I've looked into that and I've done some research on it, and there's not a lot of evidence to suggest it was. There are some signs at Cambus-Kenneth and other places of boat moorings that are a lot higher up on the banking than they should be, but that would suggest then that even at Cambus-Kenneth that the Abbey itself would be engulfed under a spring high tide, and we don't have any records of that happening. So the jury's out for some people, but I'm fairly certain that the tidal range that we see in the Forth today is pretty much the same as what we would have 700 to 750 years ago. And as I say, there has been research done regarding that from Stirling University, and it has come to the same conclusion. So whether at the Battle of Bannockburn or Stirling Bridge, these soldiers would have faced the same issues regarding tide as we have today. I'm at the top of Broom Road in Bannockburn, looking northeast, I would suggest. Really just to give you an idea of the slope here. It's fairly difficult to see in video, but it's a fairly gentle slope. If you had an army coming down here, it'd be easily negotiable. If you were coming down from the New Park or St Ninian's area, this would be the bit I suggest you would come down, avoiding the worst of Balquiderick Wood, down a gentle slope. And you can see in the distance there is that basically the bing on the cars in front again, and at the back of that you'll see the cars on the A91. I'll just zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So over the back of those houses in the foreground you'll see those trees, that's the bing on the cars, and to the right hand side of that you'll just see the cars going to and fro on the A91. So if there was a battle between the Bannockburn and the Pell Stream, I would suggest that this would be a perfect place to come down and approach that battlefield. Just to the left of where I'm standing, you'll see the Demite in the background, but in the foreground there you can see the kind of slope going down onto the cars. It's a wee bit steeper there. That'll be coming down from Gillies Road. I'll be up to the left and behind that. And if I swing around, just gives you an idea of where I am. And as I go further round to the right, and let me zoom in for you. Behind those houses there is a dry field, what's known as a dry field. If you keep following that, you'll come to Bannockburn High School. Okay, I'm on the dry field now. To the right hand side of where we're looking is Bannockburn High School, and I'm looking east towards what would be the Bannockburn Gorge. On the left hand side there you can see Balquiderick Wood, or Bluebell Woods as they're called sometimes. I'll just swing around to my right. There you can see the Bannockburn High School. And coming back round again, you can see how just narrow an area this is. Totally unsuitable in my opinion for 20,000 English and 10,000 Scots fighting a battle. I just can't see it happening here. I'll swing around the 180 degrees and let you see the other direction. Looking towards Stirling Castle across the dry field. Stunning view actually. If I zoom back, you get an idea of where we are again. Balquiderick Wood on your right hand side. I'll just spin around left and right. The area in the distance there is the fields just below Broom Road, That green field you see there. So it's fairly gentle slopes coming down, and then you're coming back up to the dry field, and then back down a 30-degree slope through the woods onto the cars. Just swing around to my right. There's the Balquidderock Woods. It's a 30-degree slope going down there, so I can't see 10,000 Scots going down through the woods. They've either gone round the edges. I don't see any contemporary writings that suggest they went down through the slope of the woods. What it said was they came out of the woods. There'd be a bit more trees back in the day, I'd imagine, especially down on the entrance, not so much on the cars, but certainly on the periphery of the cars, there would be woods. So it doesn't suggest that they definitely came out of Balquidderock Wood.